got to talk. I got to tell what I feel. I got to talk about my life as I see it.
Welcome to the NYC Youth Podcast Show. I'm your host, Coach Uncle Milk, and we are here on one of our darkest days in college basketball. We lost a great one, and I'm going to pass it over to the Ghetto Griot Al Son. He's going to take us through the day that college basketball lost a great person, a great man. What's up, Al?
Hey, what's going on, man? Peace and power, family. What's up, Uncle Milk?
I'm out.
Man, I want to start today's segment off, man, with something. I want to pay tribute and celebrate the life of a legendary, iconic figure and a great man. A great man who just happened to be a great coach. And when I say great coach, I mean just his basketball accolades alone will definitely put him in the pantheon of coaches when it comes to basketball, especially in college basketball. And I mean, just to read off some of his basketball accolades, we can start with the fact that Coach Wooden and the Georgetown Hoyas were the 1984 national champions. He was the first African American to win a national collegiate title. He came within points. They came within points. The Georgetown team came within points of winning it again in 1985, which means they went back to the championship back-to-back in 1985 and lost to a record-breaking Villanova team, whose record still exists to the day, that they had the highest field goal percentage of any basketball team in any championship. And it took that type of feat to beat that phenomenal Georgetown team. He also won. His Georgetown teams went to 3 Final Fours in 1984. Besides the championship in 1984, they went in 1982, 1985. He graduated some Hall of Famers, some great players that went on to have fantastic NBA careers, like Sleepy Floyd, Patrick Ewing, Alonzo Mourning, Dikembe Mutombo, and of course Allen Iverson, the answer, was definitely one of my favorites. He had 26 of his players be drafted into the NBA, 8 of which went in the first round. Two of whom were number 1 picks, Patrick Ewing and Allen Iverson. Let's not forget the fact that he had 24 postseason appearances in his 27 years at Georgetown. 20, he went to the NCAA tournament. 4, he went to the NIT. So out of 24, out of 27 years, this man was in the game. He was playing for a chip of some sort. But he was also inducted into Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame in 1999, which cements his legacy right there as a basketball coach. But I want to talk more about the man. Coach, last week we talked about declassification and how the end game for a lot of parents nowadays is to get their kids in college. The main objective when we get to college is to graduate. Not everybody's going to make it to, only a small percentage of us are going to make it to the pros. Let's talk about the fact that John Thompson graduated in his 27 years, 97%
Wow.
of all his 4-year players.
Wow.
97%.
They got degrees.
all got degrees. 90% of his players
Amazing.
in 27 years got degrees. He took that small Jesuit Catholic school before he came. I think they won maybe 3 games and had 1 NCAA appearance. This man won close to 600 games in his career.
Wow.
But the fact, let's get back to the fact that 90% of his 4-year players, they graduated, received degrees, and went on to do
It's amazing.
great things.
You ain't gonna find a program like that.
Let's talk about the fact that Coach Thompson was a man of principle, not just athletic, not just sports. He was a father figure. He was a great man, and he put his principles on the line. He put his money where his mouth is.
Yeah.
January 14th, 1989, right before they were to play Boston College in the Big East, Coach Thompson protested Proposition 48. For those of you who might not be aware of Proposition 48 was basically a statute that the NCAA had concocted years ago when the league, when the NCAA was most of the teams were all white, and it prohibited student athletes from playing in their freshman year if they were academically ineligible. But the part about that is important, that it was inherently a policy that kind of was racist in its undertones because it affected black athletes disproportionately. John Thompson thought that was wrong, and as a championship Hall of Fame coach, he was willing to put his principles on the line and sacrifice the game he loved to an extent that he wanted to highlight and promote the fact that this was an unjust and biased policy and statute of the NCAA, and he needed it, and he wanted it abolished. Well, eventually, one day it was.
Took a stand.
He took a stand. He was a man who was willing to take a stand. I mean, come on, we go back to the early 80s, those Georgetown teams, man. Georgetown represented being unapologetically black. I mean, me personally, I was a UNLV fan, running Rebels. Talk the Shark was my guy, and the style of basketball they played. But whenever Georgetown played, I don't care, in every hood USA, you had your Georgetown Hoya hat, you had your jersey, you had either your hoodie, Georgetown starter jacket. For that moment, everybody was a Hoya. Because the Hoyas were public enemy, they were hip hop, they were unapologetically black, and they made a statement for the fact that we could be all black and all good and rise to greatness.
That's true.
And that's what the coach represented. And he was like a father figure to his father. To his kids. You got the stories of when Alonzo Mourning was coming through the high school basketball system, and there was some drug, there's always those incendiary characters that, on the outskirts of the game, and, they come to the game, and the dealers with the cars and the money, and they try to entice the kids. There's a story about the legendary coach himself where it said Mr. Thompson went into the hood of D.C. and went and got one of the foremost gangsters of that time and said, listen, leave my boys alone. I'm looking for you. Traveled throughout the whole city looking for them. And eventually the word got out. You know how the streets are. The words got out. And this gentleman, I'm not going to mention his name, showed up in Mr. Thompson's office. And Mr. Thompson was adamant about the fact that man was going to stay away from his kids and not ruining their lives or their eligibility. And word on the street is, he was the one man that stood up to that well-known gangster.
He was a good coach.
With no repercussions.
Yeah, he was a good coach, man.
And one thing else I want to say, Coach, is that when we talk about the Mount Rushmore of coaches, you might want to talk about the Mount Rushmore of black coaches. We're talking about Clarence Big House Gaines, John McClendon, John Chaney,
from
Nolan Richardson, John Chaney from Temple, Nolan Richardson, 48 Minutes of Hell, Arkansas. When you talk about that pantheon, that Mount Rushmore of great coaches, John Thompson is in that conversation. But I want to upgrade that conversation because I truly believe that Coach Thompson, when you want to talk about the Mount Rushmore of all coaches, when you want to talk about
level?
When you want to talk about the John Woodens, the Bobby Knights, the Dean Smith, I don't care. Coach Thompson belongs on that list.
All right. Very good, El Son. Man, college basketball lost a great man today. And El said it all. And we want to send out our condolences from our show to his family, to the players that played for him, and just wherever he's going, we hope it be the best place. He's going to get a moment of silence for John Thompson, Coach Thompson from Georgetown University, and we're going to move on with our show. And just a moment of silence from John. All right, we back, and we're gonna hit up the phone lines. We kind of light tonight on certain things, and we got some guests coming in a little later. But the way it's going, we don't want to sing any names yet until we know we get some confirms. But right now, we had a late cancellation on Rafael Draper. He's doing this tournament out in New Jersey. We got his clip on his flyer. You don't have it? Okay. We gonna see if we got his flyer, so we can get it up on the screen. But it's he's supposed to be coming in at the top of the hour, but it was a late cancellation. There's something going on with the venue, and we'll know more about that later. But we want to say those teams out there that is ready to who's ready to play, who's ready to play full contact. He has a tournament out in New Jersey, and it's at the Capitella Sports Arena, and he has it on our page, on our group page, on Facebook, on our group page, and he's been promoting this all year. It was a venue in New York City, but due to the COVID, he had to move it. But he's having it out in New Jersey, and we're waiting to. He's supposed to come in today to explain, because that event is coming up in a few weeks. So all the teams out there, the youth football teams that's ready to play or to get some work, he has something that the D1 Nation is supporting. They're promoting the D1 Nation, and I'm going to get his number up here. It's Ralph Draper. It's 516-340-0134. That's 516-340-0134. And he's going to tell you more about it. It starts from 6U to 14U. And those teams who has those divisions want to get some real work for the weekend. It starts on a Friday, ends on Sunday. We're currently trying to find a flyer, but it's on my Facebook group page, the Facebook NYC Youth Sports page. It's D1 Nation, and things like that. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna try to open up these phone lines and get into something that's dear to the show. And it's one of those slow nights. We had a show prepared, but it's one of those things that when you trying to prepare a show like this and trying to prepare a live show, you depend on certain things, and certain things that if it doesn't go their way at the last minute, then you bring in certain things. But we have to bring you a show every week like we promised. Wednesday night, 8 o'clock on YouTube, Facebook, and Group and other media sites. This is something that we have to do. We're committed, and we hope, people that we bring on, as far as guests is concerned, we hoping that they keep their appointments and keep their promise to us, so we can bring a successful show to you. And it's one of those days that sometimes, it doesn't happen. What's up, Joe?
What's going on, man?
What's going on, man? It's just you and me tonight. We had Elso coming in. He had a great story about John Thompson. We lost a great man today. Coach Thompson was a long time Georgetown Hoya coach, and we lost him today. And it's a sad day in college basketball. The work that John Thompson did, and just like Elson said, the players he produced to the NBA and the players that he produced that graduated from college, he is one of the legendary coaches, and we're gonna miss him today. And it's like, we all know we go down that road one day in our life. We're born to live, but at the end of the day, we do gotta leave, and it's the way of life, and that's the way it is. A lot of people has gone in 2020, and I feel kind of sad about it because we lost a lot of people in 2020, and we're going to continue to lose. And it doesn't make me feel good, but we have to continue. We have to be here for the living, and that's the way it goes. The show, the show is coming along, I think, very well. What do you think, Joe? We got things coming up. We can spotlight, air it out. We have, we're going to be having a lot of things. Right now, it's just there's no youth ball activity. We're working on a documentary that we're going to speak on later on in the show. It's called Gersh, the Mecca of youth football. It was an era where there was youth football powerhouses playing each other. The games were exciting. The games was energized. The park was filled with youth football fans all around the city. A league was formed, was really young at the time it started, and it rose up from that, and it began to produce one of the greatest era in youth football, and we're gonna document that and bring it to you. Just like it's called Gersh, the Mecca of youth football. We're gonna start it off with a league. We're gonna try to do 6 episodes of 30 minutes of content, videos, interviews, and highlights and things like that. And just like I said, we're gonna start off with the league, the birth of Big Apple, the teams, the coaches, the games, the referee, and the future. And it's all going to be surrounded by what went on in that park at that time and that era. And, we're going to talk more about it later on in the show, hoping our second guest don't cancel on us. It's what it is, man. I'm committed. Joe's committed. There's people behind the scenes committed. When you're building something like this, days like this do happen. We're not going to whine about it. We're not going to cry about it. We're going to continue to move on, and we're going to continue to persevere regardless the way, the struggle, because it's got to be rough before it gets right. It's got to be bad before it gets good. It's got to fail before it succeed, and that's the way it is. That's the way it is. So we looking at these days, and we're encouraged to go on. But we're gonna open these phone lines up. Call us with anything. We can talk about anything. 347-776-7070. That's 347-776-7070. Whatever. We're gonna talk about whatever anybody want to talk about, and things like So it's what it is, man. We had a good show last week. We had 2 giants on, man. Basketball giants, as far as in the basketball world, as far as doing tournaments. And we had Ron Hamilton, man. He's a great guy, a coach, a player, and a dad. And he runs tournaments out in New York City. And then we had the giant of a man, Ricky Rivers from Fun Sport. We want to thank those guys, man, for coming in and showing us love and giving us the content we need for the story we was telling at that time. And, Ricky, he's from Fun Sport. Look him up, support him. He does a lot of work far as for middle school kids and the AAU tournaments and elite kids. And you're going to get a tournament that's going to be competitive. It's going to be show-stopping. He throws one of the biggest tournaments in the tri-state area, and he's going to be back. Just look out for him. The COVID is here, so a lot of things to stop far as physical youth sports. But we gonna keep moving. We're gonna keep it on, and good things is gonna come after all of this settles and the dust settles, and we can get the permits back and get us out there doing some things. A lot of events is going on. If you're not, you don't have a trainer, there's trainers. Call your coaches and get information on keeping in shape and keeping healthy and eating right. We're going to have content of that coming with our new upcoming youth sports. It's youth sports initiative, mind, body, and soul. It's all about education. It's all about fitness and all about nutritionists. We're going to get the information out, the people in play to walk you through on the everydays on how a student athlete's supposed to conduct themselves in everyday life. We're going to get that going. We're going to have one-on-one training far as introductory to football, introductory to basketball. We're going to have these trainers and coaches to come out to teach fundamentals. We're gonna archive it, video it, and bring it up to you. And our board work session is going to be about information on about how the game is played in the mind. So we're going to have all that content coming to you in the future. And we're still working on it, and we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it right, and we're gonna get it done. That's like I said, it's a slow night, but we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get by it, and everything is gonna go. We're gonna go to our first break, and we're going to our first break, and we'll be back. We should have some news about our 9 o'clock interview and see if that's going to happen. If not, then we're going to bring in something else and do something else and keep it whatever. All right, so we'll be back after the break. We're back in our brand new state-of-the-art Studio A, the home of the podcast show, NYC Youth Sports. I'm your host, Coach Uncle Milt, and I'm here to tell you about we're here every Wednesday at 8 o'clock on YouTube, Facebook group, Twitter, Instagram, and all the other social media sites. We're here to talk about and to promote youth sports in NYC and the surrounding counties. Our hotlines are going to be open at 347-776-7070. That's 347-776-7070. And we can talk about any topic that's going on in youth sports. What we need you to do for us at the podcast show is to support us. And the way you can support us is hitting that subscribe button on YouTube, giving us a comment. We value your views, we value your comments and your and things like that to help us. Support us, support our. We got a T-shirt donation. Support that. We teamed up with Amazon. Support that, and also give us support for our donations to the show, because with that support, we can help youth sports in NYC and the surrounding counties. Now, these are the information you need to know. You got our hotline. We got a new website coming out. It's finally getting the final touch on it. It's nycusports.org. It's nyc.usports.org, not .com. We also take views and comments on our Gmail page, also at nycusports at nycusports podcast show at gmail.com. That's NYCU Sports Podcast Show at gmail.com. So come and support us. Give us your views. Subscribe to our show and come enjoy the conversation, and let's talk about it, and the saga begins. I'm Uncle Mill, and I'm out. Advertise with us at NYCU Sports Podcast Show. We offer your business to get in on the ground floor of a fast-moving podcast world. Advertise your products, your services, your events, your fundraisers, games, and tournaments with us with a video or voice ad on our show. For more info, call us at 347-776-7070. That's 347-776-7070, or on our new website at nycusports.org. That's nycusports.org, or email us at nycusportspodcastshow@gmail.com. That's nycusportspodcastshow@gmail.com. Fundraising is the key to accumulate resources to help kids in youth sports. We at the Podcast Show NYC Youth Sports, a nonprofit 501c, dedicate our time and resources to take on this task. With your help, we can raise funds to invest in events, games. The Podcast Show, in return, creates sponsorships, school grants for future athletes, sports equipment, apparel and travel, and so much more. There's 3 ways you can help us. With a $25 donation, we partner up with Amazon, that we have our podcast T-shirts on their site. 2, you can cash up us a donation, any size, it would be appreciative, is at NYCU Sports Cash App, or 347-776-7070. That's 347-776-7070. And this is the last thing. And if you can't do number 1 and you can never do number 2, please do this. Go to our YouTube page and subscribe and leave a comment. That's all we ask, these 3 things, and you'll be helping our show tremendously for us to help kids. Okay? So these 3 things, and leave your comments, call our hotline, and view us every Wednesday, 8 o'clock on YouTube, Facebook group, and all the other media sites. Thank you for listening. Yeah, we back. We just got confirmation of our 9 o'clock is going to be a little earlier than that. And we got an important telephone call coming in and to make that happen. But we back. We got some news this week about schools. And the teachers spoke, and they set their concerns about the safety in schools, and it was a pause on a date they had coming back. Well, it was the 10th, but they paused it and set it back to the 21st because they want to make sure all the concerns of the teachers and the schools get all the supplies they need and everything. And that, to me, it came down to, testing. And I'm alarmingly surprised about how many people don't agree with mandatory testing. I mean, that's all we have right now. We don't have the vaccine. It's low. We're about in our low 8s and the 8%. But to bring in a bunch of kids that you don't know nothing about, that you don't know where they stand, I can understand the concerns of the teachers. First I didn't agree with them because I felt that there was people that when the height was higher and the number was higher, with the number rates were higher, there are people that went to work, man. There's people that went in and they knew, there is a 50-50 chance they can get sick. And it was no thing about it. So, they went to work. So I was kind of against it. Like, guys, man, it's 8%. Come on, you got to get in there, because the schools supports and employed a lot of people other than teachers. Think about the, school safety, the safety officers, the people that works in the cafeteria, the janitor staff, the people that works in administration. Think about the school, the crossing guard, the crossing guard. Those people got to work. Even the people that delivers the food and the milk, the milkman, he got to work too. So, you got to think about those people too, and how much the Board of Ed and public and even private school and Catholic school, who they support, and people that does business with them and who they employed and everything. So if there's no school, if there's no kids going back into those buildings, there's a lot of people that's going to be out of work. So, I feel that it's down 8%. We have to go back to see where's the numbers is going to go. It could go lower. It could go lower. It's a chance that it could go higher, but we don't know. We just got to go back. We just got to live. We got to, live and think about, like, right now is right now, and we have to go and see, and then when we go and see, then we see what it's going to be. And stop thinking about, I can die. Come on. I feel like you ain't died when it was the highest epidemic in the country. Come on, it's the lowest numbers now. So you have to be brave a little bit and think about the others that needs those jobs and need those support, and the parents that are at home need to go back to work and and get their kids situated. So, now I'm not talking about the ones that's okay with, home learning and okay to keep their kids out of school. They might be the ones that don't work, and I, I'm saying they might be the ones that, but somebody that, you got a single parent that got to feed kids and pay, they got to go to work, man. They got to get their kids situated and they got to go to work, and it's always going to be another day, a new day, especially when you're not getting help from, we may say the government helped more than this epidemic more than other epidemics, but, the government stepped in here, but it's a lot of things that's spiraling out of control. That after a while, you got to get back to some type of normalcy, and that's what I feel. So, that's what's going on. It's good that they pushed it back, and they will at some point get some kids back into the classroom to see if it's going to be, successful. And from that, I guess eventually they can get back to a percentage that all kids are back in school. So it's good that we got a starting date, and it's good that it's going to happen. Other than that, youth sports as we know it is done. I got to say it's finished. It's September, And the sports that we play in September is youth football. Basketball comes later on in the fall. But we could talk about youth football, high school football, and it's a physical sport. You have to train your mind, your body to play this sport, and you have to do it in a certain way so you can be prepared to play this sport. So as it goes now, there's no permits for the parks. There's no field that you can play on. The protocols are making it safe. And for some schools, they can't afford it. And for schools that could afford it, maybe their patrons don't want to take the chance and participate in games of that nature. There's people who wants to play. There's kids that wants to play. There's fans and supporters that want to see them play. But the powers that be makes the rules to keep us all safe. So, it's talk about it pushing back to the spring of next year. But I know, outside sports has a time limit on it, because we reach, at least up in the East Coast, we reach a cold weather. So, when you get into late November and early December and late December, it's not good to be outside doing anything. So, let's just, sometimes you got to take a rest back and say, okay, let's just regroup. It's tough for us because we built our show on sports events and things that surrounded by sports events, and we taking a hit. We're gonna take a hit, but we'll be right. We'll be good. We'll be good. We're gonna, just like I said, we're gonna do all our things, our documentaries. We bringing in all the contents that we can bring in, as far as youth sports is concerned, and it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen for us here. And when I have this to you, see, you hear our commercials. It's about supporting us. We need the support. We need the viewership support. That's important. We're on YouTube, and if you can't give your time, if you can't donate resources to make this show, at least get on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. That's going to help us very much to hit that, to us to help kids and get the information and the content out to our viewers and make this show to what it's going to be. It's, so, hit that button, give us a comment, good, bad, the ugly, I don't care. It's going to encourage us on which way the show should go, the content of the show should go. So, we're going to be out, we're looking for that. Our donations on our Cash App, whatever you can give to our Cash App, NYC Youth Sports, or the number is 347-776-7070. That's 347-776-7070. Get that out. Anything you can give us, if it's a whatever, $1, whatever you can give us, a bottle of water, a case of water, a Gatorade, whatever that you feel free, send it down to our podcast studios. We're here in Long Island City. It's 34-18 Northern Boulevard, Long Island City, New York, 11101. We down here on the 4th floor, 410. You just leave it in the lobby and say this is for the podcast show. And it would be very much appreciative. Also put on our website, on our YouTube group page, NYC Youth Sports Podcast Show Facebook group page, your events, your highlight your kids, put your stories in it and everything, and we might pick up one of them and call you and tell you you can come on the show and share your stories with the youth sports world. Not, if it's a football story, we glad to get it. If it's a basketball story, a soccer story, a track story, or whatever type of story, we might highlight it on our show. Put your ideas in it. Please be kind on the comments. We know constructive criticism is always welcome. We don't want to be disrespectful and things of that nature. So, hey, it's what it is, man. We waiting now. Currently, we waiting for our call in about a few minutes. We're gonna call our first guest, our only guest for today, and we had a late cancellation on our 8 o'clock guest, and it kind of drew us back that we didn't have any backup. And I called all my lifelines in and my and what you call it, my lifelines, everything in, and just didn't pop up. So we wanted to get this great man in the studio, but we can accept him on the telephone. It's just as well. So we're gonna give him a call and get him set up in about another 5 minutes and get him right and get him set up, and we're gonna continue this interview with this man. He's a youth football icon. He's an icon in New York City. I call him the businessman, Mr. Businessman. He's about his business. He's about growing his brand. And if you under his banner, he's going to grow you too. He's going to make your organization, if you play underneath his league, he's going to make your organization bigger and more profitable. As I knew this man, and through the years I've been tied to youth football, I always say this man take care of his business. I don't see nothing else. And sometimes, when you take care of your business and the other person don't take care of their business, they feel that you after what they doing, and if they're paying attention, the person who's taking care of his business, he's making moves. He's always making moves to make him better, make his brand better, and make youth sports better also. So we're delighted to have this guy. He's coming on in another 5 minutes. Please bear with us. Like I said, our early interview canceled on us at the last minute. This is something that we dread here in the show, that something like this does happen. We have other things, but it's for other days, and we don't want to utilize, so we're going to take the hit right now. I'm going to take the hit because it's me, the host. So me right now, I'm just making up the time until, we can prep this guy and get him in here, and we're going to have a dynamite interview with this and we're going to go to a break. Let's go to the break, and we're going to set this out. We're going to set this up. We're back in our brand new state-of-the-art Studio A, the home of the podcast show, NYC Youth Sports. I'm your host, Coach Uncle Milt, and I'm here to tell you about we're here every Wednesday at 8 o'clock on YouTube, Facebook group, Twitter, Instagram, and all the other social media sites. We're here to talk about and to promote youth sports in NYC and the surrounding counties. Our hotlines are going to be open at 347-776-7070. That's 347-776-7070. And we can talk about any topic that's going on in youth sports. What we need you to do for us at the podcast show is to support us. And the way you can support us is hitting that subscribe button on YouTube, giving us a comment, We value your views. We value your comments and your and things like that to help us. Support us. Support our. We got a T-shirt donation. Support that. We teamed up with Amazon. Support that, and also give us support for our donations to the show, because with that support, we can help youth sports in NYC and the surrounding counties. Now, these are the information you need to know. You got our hotline. We got a new website coming out. It's finally getting the final touch on it. It's NYC. Yeah, we back. Listen, I'm going to bring this man in as a very special man to youth football in New York City and all over the country. This man built one of the biggest youth football leagues in the East Coast, and he didn't stop there. Under his leadership, Big Apple expanded the business of youth football. Let me repeat that. The business of youth football in New York City and the surrounding counties, and he didn't stop there. He helped create more teams in the 5 boroughs, made them independent and profitable. He helped them with field permits, equipment, resources, so they could survive under his banner. And he didn't stop there. He built the Big Apple brand, from the Big Apple show to the best Super Bowl events, and the architect of one of the best youth football eras in a park. We call it the Mecca of youth football games in New York City, Gersh Park, known as Linden Park in East New York. He's a co-founder of the United Youth Football League, and I call him Mr. Businessman. He's youth football's Mr. Businessman. We're gladly to have Courtney Pollins here to our show. Welcome, brother. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that outstanding introduction. How are you tonight?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I wish we had you in on the show. We having a very, very slow night, but please bear with us. We're glad that you didn't cancel on us.
Well, I definitely don't want to cancel. I definitely don't want to cancel on you. I definitely appreciate everything that you're doing.
Yeah. So, it's one of those. It's one of those. You start off with a full cup, and then all of a sudden it's like, what happened? I got a hole in this. But just like I said, we talked before, and you've done it. You've done a show, and from your show, from what Mike and Jay has doing, from a lot of other things in the event. We put together something that we feel that it's a platform that everybody can come and enjoy and bring their stories and bring whatever or what's on their mind to air it out here on this platform. And from what your guys have been doing out there, it inspires us to do this and take it beyond.
But like I said.
Hello? Courtney?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, go ahead, repeat. You there?
No.
Go ahead.
I was saying it was an honor.
Yeah. You had some you've been doing some work this season, man. Let's talk about this Big Apple, a pickup you had with certain teams leaving certain leagues, and you've been picking up some of the pieces, and you've been adding other pieces, and and you've been, like I said, Courtney does his business, man. He's one of the best business minds I see in youth football, and he does his business, man. So let's talk about these big requirements, acquisitions you had, man.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I have a little technical difficulty on the line.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's going in and out.
Oh, it's going in and out? Oh,
I'm going to call you. I'm gonna call you on a landline.
Okay, maybe it's that. Okay, all right. Okay, we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait for your call. Oh, okay. All right.
Yes.
Stay with us, folks. Stay with us, folks. Courtney will be back, and we're gonna pick it up right where we left off at, and yeah, we're gonna get into some things about what Big Apple is doing, and then some other things we got cooking, with Courtney and things surrounded by youth sports as far as the show is concerned. And yeah, he's gonna call us back with a solid line. That's why I like you there.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Oh,
You
wow,
hear me?
you sound much better. You sound much better. I want you to walk us through these big acquisitions you done picked up. We a fellow league has kind of like lost a couple of pieces and main pieces, and you scooped them up.
Well, we've been really fortunate, and we've picked up a couple of new programs, and one of the programs we picked up, the Brooklyn Chiefs,
Wow.
the Rockaway Ravens,
Yeah.
the Brooklyn Titans. So we've been really fortunate this year.
Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. You got the Titans?
Yes, we do.
Wow. What happened with the Metropolitan? I thought I thought Mr. Solomon was going there. I mean, he came on our show and said he was going there. He something happened with that. Wow. Okay.
I just,
you a bad man.
I try to focus. I try to focus on Big Apple.
Yeah.
I don't get into anybody else's business.
Okay. I'm saying you a bad man because we had the information that they was over there. That you okay? So Big Apple started with these guys.
Yes.
In the beginning, right?
Yes.
Take us through that. I mean, it's like they coming back home, man. There's nothing wrong with chickens coming home to roost, right?
Correct.
So tell us about. We're here at the podcast show, right? And we know some of the presidents and everything, and we know I know you don't want to get into the other thing, but they was with you first, and then they kind of left and did their own thing, and they came full circle. And how does that feel?
Well, one of the things that I always say, everybody has the right to experiment or to try to expand their horizon. I don't hate on anybody who's trying to better themselves or be owners. And I think that people have the right to try to better their program. I just think that when people return to play ball, we're playing football. I think we want the same things, but sometimes, unfortunately, with everybody wanting to grow and go their own way, sometimes there's conflict. Sometimes I don't take it ill will though.
And I'm sure you welcome them back with big arms, like they never left. And this is good that you can come home and still be and still do business, like they left.
At the end of the day, those guys are in the business of taking care of children, and I gotta respect them. And even if I don't always agree with every decision, they love children like I do, so I can't be mad.
Yeah, you can't. And this big it up that you taking care of your business and you able to have something to come back to, and it's gonna be bigger. And it always was bigger and better, but it's gonna be more bigger and more better.
Oh, absolutely.
We glad we got you. This is our first year, our first part of the year that youth sports, as far as football or some basketball, was supposed to be happening, scrimmages and things. And we at the podcast show came up with this here, and we wanted to bring you aboard on it. And just like I said, we want to do our first documentary, and it's called Gersh, the Mecca of Youth Football. And we wanted to bring you on, and the topics is like what we're doing is we're bringing up like 6 topics, and we're gonna have 30 minutes of content and video and highlights and things and interviews, and we want to start off with you, and we call it, the first thing is the league. Then we're gonna go into something called the teams, the coaches, the games, the referee, and the future. So we want to start off with you, and can you give us a little outline on the birth of Big Apple and how did that came about?
Oh, yeah. Sam Jackson actually started Big Apple back in 2001. And Mr. Jackson, who was a major inspiration for myself, he started the league, and he was working on putting things together. I came in 2 years after Sam had started the league. In 2003, management changed hands where I was basically the president at that time, and Sam worked with me. And we tried to start building a league for children of color and giving them opportunities that we didn't have in our community in the 90s and 80s.
Mm.
And so when that league started, it started out with like 5 teams only.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a program called the Brooklyn Patriots, not the same Patriots you know today.
Mm-hmm.
There was another one called the Brooklyn Tomahawks, which still existed.
Mm-hmm.
The Harlem Knights, the Brooklyn Panthers, and those were the 4 main teams in the league that started it off.
And at Big Apple's height, how many teams you had on?
I'm sorry, say again?
At the height of Big Apple, how many teams was added?
Oh, wow. In the height of Big Apple, there's about 39 organizations and 145 teams.
Wow.
That was the height.
So from 6 teams started off with?
Yes.
And metamorphed to from 6 teams, metamorphed over to over 100 teams.
140 teams.
Wow.
So we really had something going that was special in the city.
Yeah, very special. And it was the first inner city youth football organization.
Right. We was not only the first youth inner city organization that was run and owned by people of color, but we was the one who also sent the most teams to Florida in the history of New York City as a league. We sent the most, about 28 teams went to Florida for the championship.
Wow. That's amazing.
And that's not including cheerleaders.
So that's like I said, you help create, supported, encourage these teams, and they metamorph to this, and they metamorphed, and it get to the point that from your tutelage and your leadership, you do get people that feel they can be independent, and sometimes you get that separation, like let's do it ourselves and things that happens. That happens with being independent and encouraging leaderships and things like that. So hey, I understand. I mean, it's incredible.
I'll tell you one thing. I was very blessed by God.
Mm-hmm.
I can't take credit just for my own. A lot of people work with me.
Mm-hmm.
Guys like Tyrone Franklin,
Mm-hmm.
Tina, Dwayne Rivers, Dan Barnes. I'm sure I'm missing a few names, but a lot of people work really hard to help the league grow and become what it was and what it is today.
It's great.
And I'm thankful to them every day.
Wow. I mean, you just like I said, I've been to a few events that you host as far as Big Apple, and the games is exciting, it's entertaining, it's competitive. And I see the way it could be, and it has more room. It has more room to get much better.
Yes.
Much more room to get much better, and more profitable. It's more profitable. Just like we talked off the air, that we have to work together. We have to work together on one vision, one goal. So you can have your own different platforms, but at the end of the day, it's got to be youth sports, no matter what it is, football, basketball, baseball, got to be up front. And if you care about the sports part of it, then you should care about helping it grow and just doing your part to help it grow.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm just like I told you, this show, this platform, is for you guys out there in the world. It's for you guys that's making youth sports relevant in New York City. And, I'm here committed into helping as best I can. And, so once we get sports back, we're going to be doing some things. And like this documentary, it should be the first thing, a joint venture from Big Apple to our show. And this is something that we're going to put together in a joint venture to show the youth football world that we could work together on something bigger.
Yes.
And all you do is check our Eagles at the door. Remember that we're helping kids. And the main goal is to get New York City back on the country map.
Absolutely.
The main goal is that.
Yes, I think that, again, as a person who went to a black college, I went to Bethune-Cookman, and one of the things is, a person of color, I'm committed to making our community stronger and better, and giving us opportunities that we never had before. And I think one of the things, when you go to a small black college, it makes you see how much we need and how much you want to help the need.
Yeah.
And I believe that with all my heart, that you're positioned and have the opportunity to make young people's lives better, and that's your calling sometimes in life.
Yeah. Because I started out. I'm from the business community. I ran my own business. I'm from the advertising part. Had a print shop and doing things. Currently, and when I came to youth football, I started off at the Jamaica Bulldogs.
Right.
As a helper. Then I became a coach. I always wanted to do fundraising. I always wanted to do organizing. I always wanted to do something to bring back a product, resources, whatever we can get from the business community, sponsors and things like that, and always wanted to bring it down to this level because it's the thing that we set this, the thing that you set these up. To be honest, man, I figure we over 10,000 fans and supporters, and over that in the city, and that's a product. That's a product for business,
Right.
And when there's a product, when there's something to sell to, there's resources.
Right.
We have to think business. We have to think local business, and we have to think corporate sponsors. We have to think business, and as me coming up in the ranks of youth football, it's not a lot of people out here that thinks like that. You know, and it's
Right.
so crazy that they envy of persons who think like that.
Right. No, you're right.
And I don't understand. I really, you know, I don't understand. Like, I look at people, how they talk, you know, such and such, such and such, and I'm like, wow, you kidding me? You know, if you
Right.
got somebody in your org that's going to bring you dollars and all you're going to do is say, come on.
Right. I
You
think
know?
I think that, like I said again, that youth football has a lot of opportunity to really be able to get across a very positive message to our young people at this time, that we're dealing in the situation that we're dealing with, from social injustice to products and things that we can control as a people.
Mm-hmm.
So I love it.
Yeah.
I love what you're doing. I think that you're doing an excellent job, and I think this is something you should go forward with.
Yes, I mean, we committed. Courtney, we committed. And with people like you that's putting that wind in our sail, hey, listen, man, we encourage it, we need it, and we thank you for it. You know, and you know, as we doing this, and I tell my partner Joe this all the time, you know, it's gotta be bad before it's good. You know, it's gotta be, you know, it's gotta be a setback before it gets rolling. And we gotta win right now in these new episodes that we coming out, because we dialed it back and we put it together, and nothing is gonna deter me, man. I'm focused, and I don't care, you know, long as I can get guys like you to support us. We got 2 dynamite basketball guys that come aboard that can help us, and as long as my phone calls can be picked up, and we got people out there that can help us with content and bring their stories to us, we will be fine. We will be fine.
Right.
You know, and it's not easy. You know how it is. It's not easy. Because, you know, in this society and this social media, everybody wants to be famous. And you don't start off from the top of the tree. Nobody does.
Right.
Nobody does.
No, absolutely.
And I tell everybody that say, oh, I support the show. Oh, yeah, you need to do this. You know, we get one break at a time. One break at a time.
Right. Like I said.
You know, and just like I said, I thank you. I wish I could have got you in, but I know, you know, other schedules, and I miss that you run your own organization.
Right.
You a coach and you a president of the Renegades, Brooklyn Renegades. I miss that.
Yes.
So you're busy yourself, and
Yes.
and I, you know, and I understand it, man, and I appreciate it that you're taking your time out and talking to us and keeping your obligations. Some people don't even answer their phone, Courtney.
I'm sorry.
You know,
that part was a little staticky.
Yeah. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, say it one more time. It
Yeah.
was a little staticky.
I said that we appreciate you because you run your own org. You run your own org, so you're very busy. And, you know, you called us, and I appreciate it. Some people don't even do that. They just don't pick up the phone.
Well, no, I want to be able to hold to my word. I got to the best I can.
Okay.
Keep to my word.
Can you repeat that one more time? Listen, everybody out there. This is very important. When a guest decided to say yes, repeat that, Mr. Courtney. You want to keep your what?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Wait, I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, I said repeat what you said. You want to keep your what? What's
I
very
want to keep my word.
Yeah, that's very important. When you say, okay, Uncle Mill, I'm going to come on, just keep your word, or you call and say something. Some people don't even do that, Courtney. They don't even pick up the phone.
I know.
They don't even pick up the phone, bro.
Oh, All we have is our word at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, that's all you have. If you lose your word, and some people gonna call me today on this or email me, oh man, why you stressing it? That's me. No, because we old school. I'm old school. We old school. Our word means something. We have our word before we had anything, before we had money, success, anything. Our word should mean something.
That's right. You're right.
And our word don't mean nothing. We're just sad people, human beings.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Listen, we're going to reschedule you because we want you in the studio. We're going to figure out your time. We're gonna tape the first the intro of the show, and we're going to bring you in and break you in and view it to our guests. And we want you here, and we're going to put something together because we're going to work on this documentary. We're going to have this out before December.
Okay.
And we're going to have this finished for December, and we're going to have something to show the people. It's going to be very good, and hopefully it's more entertainment that we can pick up one of the networks.
Right.
But we're going to do it for us.
Yes. Will you give me a call offline, and we'll set it up?
Yes. I want you to come in on your off days and come and talk to us. But just like I said, I thank you very much.
All right, no problem.
Today. All right.
Thank you, Uncle Mill.
Courtney Pollins, thank you. And we're going to let's go to a little something with the break a little bit, and we're going to come back and close and get out of here. All right.
All right, now.
Thank you very much.
All right.
We're back in our brand new state-of-the-art Studio A, the home of the podcast show, NYC Youth Sports. I'm your host, Coach Uncle Milt, and I'm here to tell you about we're here every Wednesday at 8 o'clock on YouTube, Facebook group, Twitter, Instagram, and all the other social media sites. We're here to talk about and to promote youth sports in NYC and the surrounding counties. Our hotlines are going to be open at 347-776-7070. That's 347-776-7070. And we can talk about any topic that's going on in youth sports. What we need you to do for us at the podcast show is to support us. And the way you can support us is hitting that subscribe button on YouTube, giving us a comment. We value your views. We value your comments and your and things like that to help us. Support us. Support our. We got a T-shirt donation. Support that. We teamed up with Amazon. Support that, and also give us support for our donations to the show, because with that support, we can help youth sports in NYC and the surrounding counties. Now, these are the information you need to know. You got our hotline. We got a new website coming out. It's finally getting the final touch on it. It's nycussports.org. It's nyc.usports.org, not .com. We also take views and comments on our Gmail page, also at nycusports at nycusports podcast show at gmail.com. That's NYC Sports podcast show at gmail.com. So come and support us. Give us your views. Subscribe to our show and come enjoy the conversation, and let's talk about it. And the saga begins. I'm Uncle Mill, and I'm out. Advertise with us at NYC Youth Sports Podcast Show. We offer your business to get in on the ground floor of a fast-moving podcast world. Advertise your products, your services, your events, your fundraisers, games, and tournaments with us with a video or voice ad on our show. For more info, call us at 347-776-7070. That's 347-776-7070, or on our new website at nycussports.org. That's nycussports.org, or email us at nycussportspodcastshow@gmail.com. That's nycussportspodcastshow@gmail.com. Fundraising is the key to accumulate resources to help kids in youth sports. We at the Podcast Show NYC Youth Sports, a nonprofit 501c, dedicate our time and resources to take on this task. With your help, we can raise funds to invest in events, games, the Podcast Show, in return, create sponsorships, school grants for future athletes, sports equipment, apparel and travel, and so much more. There's 3 ways you can help us. With a $25 donation, we partner up with Amazon that we have our podcast t-shirts on their site. 2, you can cash up us a donation any size. It would be appreciative. Is at NYC Youth Sports Cash App or 347-776-7070. That's 347-776-7070. And this is the last thing. And if you can't do number 1 and you can never do number 2, please do this. Go to our YouTube page and subscribe and leave a comment. That's all we ask. These 3 things, and you'll be helping our show tremendously for us to help kids. Okay? So these 3 things, and leave your comments, call our hotline, and view us every Wednesday, 8 o'clock on YouTube, Facebook group, and all the other media sites. Thank you for listening. All right, we back, and here you go. We was off focus a little bit. Yeah, we back, and we're about to put this episode 12. It's 12? Yes. Yeah, we get ready to put episode 12 to bed. It started off weird, but hey, it's one of those things we're gonna chuck it up to the game and go back and continue to work. We want to thank L's son coming in with that John Thompson piece. Thank our producer Joe sitting in tonight. We want to thank Courtney Pollins for Big Apple Youth Football League for calling on the phone and giving us that great interview. And we want to thank the viewers that's watching us. We'll be back next week. And I'm putting it on the line. We got a better show next week. We got the mighty BU coming in. And Coach Adam is bringing us some news about some other happenings in youth football around New York City. We're going to have that next week, Wednesday, 8 o'clock on YouTube, Facebook group, and all the other media sites. I'm Uncle Milt. This episode 12 of Uncle Milt's Ideas Coming to Reality, and we're out.
I got to talk. I got to tell what I feel. I got to talk about my life as I see it.